All right, welcome back to another episode of the Black Bullion Show. By the end of this video, I will have given you three major countries that engaged in gold confiscation in the last century. Who are they? Well, find out shortly. But first, if you're new to this channel, please hit that big red subscribe button right down below. Also, please hit the like button. It helps to get this economic evangelism right on out there to the masses to bring more people into precious metals. Okay, so we'll start with our obvious favorite, the United States. That's the one that we always tend to talk about when it comes to gold confiscation. And with the United States, President Roosevelt signed into law Executive Order 6102 on April 5th of 1993. During this time, he forbade the private hoarding of gold coins, bullion, certificates in the continental United States. Now, Americans had to take their gold to a bank and exchange it for $20.67 an ounce of whatever gold that they had. Now, the interesting thing is that several months later, he raised the price of gold to $35 an ounce, meaning that the dollars that the old gold owners received in exchange for the gold that they gave to the bank was devalued by 40%. Now, that is some cold mess right there. Just imagine you saying like, all right, well, just $20. It's the same amount that I had in gold. That's fine. And then realizing that rope-a-dope that, your government, just did to you. So, and the reason why this essentially was done, why Roosevelt thought that this was a good idea was because the dollar needed to be devalued so that he could pay for, pretty much all the programs and, to stem the tide of the fallout of the Great Depression. So he had to increase the money supply, and the only way to do that was to devalue the dollar. Next, we have another country that kind of did the same thing, devaluing the dollar, but we'll get to that soon. But just to end this off, it wasn't really until January 1st of 1975, under President Ford, that U.S. citizens were then able to, it was made legal for them to own gold more than $100 worth of gold again. So they had to wait until 1975, pretty much. So that's roughly around 42 years, which is insane. The next country we have on the list is, drumroll please, it is the great country of Australia. So Australia did their deed in 1959 as a part of the Banking Act, where the governor could seize gold if he thought it was, and I quote, expedient so to do for the protection of currency. So basically, same thing as the United States, just a different country. Check this out. Just a quick quote from this article. The country's treasurer stated in a press release that followed, all gold other than wrought gold and coins to a limited extent had to be delivered to the Reserve Bank of Australia within 1 month of its coming into a person's possession. The law also said you weren't allowed to sell gold except to the Reserve Bank of Australia, their central bank, nor could you export any gold, send it outside the country without the bank's permission. While it is unclear whether or not the country moved ahead with active seizures or, just how many citizens complied, the law still destroyed the local private gold market overnight. Like the U.S., this rule wasn't short-lived either. Reports indicate it stayed on the books until 1976, a full 17 years before being quote unquote suspended. Now, lastly, you guys might have gotten a sneak peek earlier in this video. We have Great Britain. Now, Great Britain committed its sin in 1966. And basically, the idea was that you were only allowed to own 4 precious metals coins, which just seems kind of odd. Why 4? you know? But essentially, imports of gold coins were blocked. And if you wanted to own more precious metals, you actually had to apply to become a collector of these coins. And this law lasted until 1979. This article here actually notes that at that time, gold was not a part of Great Britain's monetary system, yet gold was still confiscated anyway. Now, with all of these scenarios, the interesting thing is that jewelry was left out of the picture. Now, I'm not sure when this particular video will come out and when the next video or when the video I'm going to refer to is going to come out. But I did a video about Menē and how, they're bringing investment grade jewelry, back to the jewelry industry. And they actually could be an alternative for those of you who are concerned about the possibility of seizure. Obviously, you can get other kinds of jewelry, depending on where you are. Say, for example, if you're in India or somewhere, you can probably get that investment grade jewelry, that pure stuff, pretty easily. You don't have to rely on a company like Menē. But for those of us who are basically forced to deal with 18 karat, 14 karat, and all those crazy markups that they put on that impure jewelry, it's a possibility there. But I mean, as far as diversification for metal is concerned, another thing you can also take in consideration is non-bank vaults. So I've also done a video about non-bank vaults as well. I'll try to maybe add that video to the end of this video, or maybe that Menē video to the end of this video. But if there are any other alternatives that you guys can think of, let me know in the comments section below. Thanks again for watching. Really appreciate your views. If you're new to the channel, please hit that subscribe button down below. Also, please hit the like button. It's Black Bullion.